everybody. So Lisa Lavender here, Chief Operating Officer of the Restoration Technical Institute. One of my favorite things about this industry is it brings people together who had all kinds of previous experience, previous careers, and did different things. And I'm a big believer in that no matter what you did before you entered this industry, you are bringing something valuable that makes your career path special or your company special. And so, for example, before I entered this industry, I was an accountant. I never thought I was going to be a restorer. And some of the things, obviously, I was able to bring my accounting skills, but I use it in the day-to-day. Simple things like the concept of placing a dehumidifier on a job site. I use my accounting training and brain, and I apply it to developing processes and how I explain things. So I take 3 dehumidifiers, place them on the job. That means 3 units are there. I have 3 readings to do. I'm gonna take my GPP in, GPP out, and have a grain depression reading. On how many units? 3. Now the job is dry. How many do I have to remove? 3. Sounds simple, but these are basic processes that you back out in accounting that reconciles so that I have 0 left on the job site. So that's kind of some of what I brought to my career. And I'm here with my dear friend Mike from Encore Restoration Reconstruction Consultants in North Carolina. And we're gonna hang out a couple hours and inspire each other this morning.
That's right.
And I actually wore my special boots. You see my special boots for him.
They were made for walking.
They were made for walking. I don't wear them very often. They're very uncomfortable. But I wore them in honor of Mike and what he did before he entered this industry. So Mike, first, tell us about what did you do before you entered this industry?
Well, I was in the military, and my last few years in the military after the Gulf War, I got involved with 2 guys that I knew in the military, and I started riding bulls. And I rode bulls amateur for a couple years, and then tried my hand at going pro, and that didn't turn out too well. With a couple of injuries, it kind of put me out. So after that, I think it was about 25 years old, and I started clowning. Clowning, and I was a professional rodeo clown for about 17 years. I traveled all over the United States, did some pretty big rodeos, rodeoed all over the East Coast. I didn't do a whole lot out west, but there was enough rodeos here that I didn't have to. And that's kind of my big 15 minutes to fame.
Wow, Mike, that is wild. I think you had one of the most unique things before you entered cleaning, restoration, and reconstruction.
Well, one of the reasons I got into it was my brother-in-law had a carpet cleaning business in northwestern Ohio. And I was home at Christmas, and he had a partner. And him and his partner went out, and they were gone for about 2.5 hours. And when they came back, he said, "Yep, we just made $500." And I'm sitting on the couch, and I was married at the time, and I had my kids. We were all sitting there, and we're visiting my sister, and like I couldn't stop thinking about that. I'm like, they just made $500 in 2.5 hours, right? And then so rodeo is very seasonal, and April to October, it's really hot. With all the performances and everything, and then usually around mid-October, again going to March, April, it's really slow, like you're starving. So I had to do something in the wintertime, so I called my brother-in-law up, and he goes, "Yeah, me and my partner got in a fight, and I'm selling this van." And I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "You want to buy it?" And I said, "Sure." So I bought a train ticket, and I took a train to Toledo, Ohio, and I drove this crappy van all the way back to North Carolina. And I remember waking up the next morning, and I had a cup of coffee, and I was standing out there, and I opened up this door, and I'm like, with my cup of coffee, and I'm like, "Yep, I'm a carpet cleaner," and I didn't even know how to turn the machine on.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know anything.
That's awesome.
But that's, with that was the very beginnings of me starting into this industry and leading me to where I'm at today.
Awesome. So my next part 2 of this question is, prove me right in my fundamental belief of what I love is that we all bring something to the industry that we may have our skills developed or learned or we did, no matter what we did, even a rodeo clown. So what did you bring to your company to make it special, to your career, how you applied your skills, how you developed your skills? What did you bring from that makes it special from being a rodeo clown?
Well, in rodeoing, one of the aspects of being a rodeo clown, besides the danger element of it, was there's the entertaining element of it. And I, as when I first started out and I was younger and a little bit thinner than I am now and a little bit more agile, I was all up into the danger part of it. And then as I got older and the kids and started slowing down a little bit, the entertainment part of it started for me. And the comedy and making people laugh, making people happy, that part kind of took over. And I think if the biggest thing for me is, even when I'm talking to somebody and being able to communicate with them in a way that makes them happy, even like in my company, I think if you went to my company right now and I was outside of the door, and you would say, tell me a little bit about Mike, they would just kind of put their head down and shake it, because that guy can say some off the wall things that just make you laugh, and it's
I can attest to that myself.
Yeah, it's like you never know what's
gonna make me happy and laugh a lot.
Yeah,
every time I talk to you.
They say you never know what's gonna come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And good, bad, or indifferent, it's still gonna make you laugh when I say it. And for me, I don't even think about it. It's kind of like just a second nature, like I just do it. But it's when you talk about people that's had a fire and have lost everything and have had that tragedy, and you're standing there and you're thinking about dollars and you want this job, but yet you want to empathize with that person because they've lost everything, and maybe it's just a kind word to say something that just makes them chuckle for that one moment, and it makes them forget about the mess that their life is at that moment, or fixing to be over a period of time that they're going through the mitigation process or the reconstruction process. To me, that's kind of an important aspect, to be able to deliver that to somebody.
Well, Mike, I think you proved my theory right, and that you're able to take your skills and talents from being a rodeo clown, making people happy and engaging them, and you applied it to your workplace culture and also how you and your team interact and comfort your customers. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for the next. What did you do before you entered this industry, and what did you bring with you?